Today, we are talking about 5 questions that you should ask a social media agency before working with them. And the first 2 are actually things that you need to ask yourself to see if you're even in a position to be hiring a social media agency. And the last 3 are ones that you want to ask them themselves. The first one is, do you know how your social media should be run? You just don't have the time. Or do you not know how your social media should be run and you are hiring someone before you've acquired the skill set? And ideally, if you know how your social media should be run, you're already getting results with it. You already can tell them this is exactly how we make our content. These are our fonts, our brand colors. If you can hand it off to them like that, it's a lot more likely that this is going to go well for you. And the problem is a lot of businesses want to hand off their social media before they've learned it at all. And honestly, that makes a lot of sense. Why would I even learn Instagram at all if I'm just going to hire it out eventually? The problem is it just doesn't work that smoothly, because when you hire someone else to do your Instagram, just like you would have to do when you're first making your account, the first 10 pieces of content at least are probably not going to be what you end up posting from there. You're kind of just doing a few posts to see how long did these take me to do, or is this like a repeatable process? Did they get a lot of likes or engagement? Questions like that until you can answer those, you don't really know what your content should even be. And if you're going to have an agency do it for you, even though, they're supposed to be the social media experts, it doesn't really matter. They still don't know exactly how your company should be doing its posts from day one, especially because they probably don't know anything about your market. So for them to come out and their first guess at how to create content for you to be great and working and to your approval would be very difficult. And that's fine if you want to pay an agency to go through all this process for you, but that's also why a lot of them will say, hey, it's going to be a while before I start getting you results. And it doesn't take nearly as long to get results if you're already getting results and can hand it over like that. So here's how I tell you to look at hiring a social media agency. It's kind of like if you are a restaurant hiring a new waiter or waitress, and that waiter or waitress had experience at working at a different restaurant before. So even though you are hiring someone that has previous waitress experience at a different restaurant, it doesn't mean you can just plug them into your restaurant and say, all right, perfect, you don't even need training, your first shift starts tonight. There are still a lot of ways that your particular business will do things, and all of that needs to be communicated through training. So a lot of people, like the big mistake they make is just hiring these people who are a social media agency and they're supposed to be the experts and they know nothing about how to run their own social media. They've got no track record of results, or even maybe they have like a small following, but they've never found anything that works content-wise. And it's still not a bad place to hire someone, because you're maybe saying, hey, nothing I do works and I'm sick of trying to create content. Let me just hire an agency. They might take a little bit longer before they're actually getting you results. And if you don't have the money to support that, you might want to learn it yourself. The second question is, are you hiring someone because social media is just one of those things that all businesses needs to do nowadays? Or are you hiring someone because you already know that a particular social media platform is very important for your business? So again, it kind of comes down to if you already have experience with these apps and you can hire people saying, hey, we know Instagram works, we just don't have the time. Can you do this for us? But I've heard of a lot of businesses that really don't even need to be on TikTok, let's say, and they hire a TikTok agency just because they're like, we're not going to figure it out, but we heard that you can get a lot of views on there, so we're going to hire it out, and it was $1,500, and they just like blindly hire just off of the premise that we need to be on the app, we don't want to learn it though. And that's difficult to know exactly if you should be on the app if you don't know about it at all. So that makes sense why you're just blindly hiring on it. But just know that for a lot of social media, like even Instagram, is it important to have an account no matter what? Absolutely, and get some initial posts up. But there's a lot of businesses that can do without not posting to Instagram multiple times per week nowadays and still do totally fine as far as their sales numbers goes. So just know what you're actually trying to get out of your social media. If you're just hiring it because you know it's like one of those boxes that needs to be checked, I'm telling you that it's actually not as necessary, and I'm a social media guy. So do you need social media to grow your business? Most likely. But I'm saying, do you need every single platform that you hear about? And do you need to pay for daily posting on Instagram because someone told you 5 years ago that it's important to daily post. Nowadays, the reach is down, so it's not really something that you need to do, right? So what are you trying to get out of your social media? Are you just trying to keep in touch with past clients? Because if you do 1 to 3 posts a week, that should do it for you. Are you trying to actively grow? Because you're probably going to need daily reels if you're really trying to grow from organic marketing, and then that agency better know what they're doing. And you're probably going to have to be involved with these reels just because most of them require someone be on film. So like, what are you really trying to do? And then figure out how much work that would actually take, which if you don't know, I'm just going to let you know right now. If you are totally clueless as to social media literacy and you don't have time to learn this and you're at the phase where you're debating if you should hire an agency or not, and a lot of the stuff I'm saying right now, it makes sense, but you also don't have enough perspective to really answer these questions honestly, then you can book a free consultation with me and just tell me exactly where you're at. I'll know if you should hire an agency, if it would make sense for you within like 5-10 minutes. So I'll just let you know now. If anything is just over your head today, go to the description right now. Let's just make this simple. Book the free consultation. I'll tell you if an agency would be profitable for you or not. Okay, totally free call. So let's go into the last 3 questions. These are the questions that you need to ask the agency to figure out if they are a good agency to work with. The first one is extremely important. Have you worked with someone in my niche before? And this is going to be the one where a lot of agencies are going to disqualify themselves, in my opinion, because a lot of them just work with everyone. And this is another reason why it's really important to pick a niche, because how are you going to be good at running every business's social media? Unless you are just doing a very basic approach to all of them, you probably don't know nearly enough about each individual market to create truly trending content in the form of reels, because if you're not doing that organic marketing wise, if they're not doing that for you, it's going to be very difficult. If they're doing paid ads for you, that's something different, and we'll talk about that in one of these later questions. But right now, have you ever worked with someone in my niche? And if they haven't, but they also are an active customer in your market, and the person who is going to be writing the ads and making them is that person, all right? A lot of times the person you're talking to that's closing you on the agency work will not be doing any of it. So if they're like, oh, I love yoga, I could totally make your yoga ads, but it's some VA in another country that they hired that has never done yoga in their life, they will be writing their ads. Just let me tell you this straight up. Like, why do you think someone who knows nothing about your market will write better ads than you just because they understand marketing? Understanding of marketing is just an understanding of your customers' thoughts and problems to an extremely high level, and then being able to package a solution in a very effective way and understanding how paid media works, pretty much, right? Or organic content creation. So you need all those things in order for marketing to work. But what a lot of these people don't have is they're like, yeah, we know how to turn on Facebook ads and spend your money. We know how to create a basic infographic. We've never bought anything in your market, and we are guys telling you we can run your makeup ads, even though none of us use makeup or have any clue what any of it does, nor are we going to even ask you about any of it. We're just going to tell you we can run your ads. And then when they throw your ads together, it just is a very basic promotion that's just like 25% off our entire store. And they just take your money for a month or two before you find out like they're probably not going to be able to make it work. That's unfortunately a lot of the situations out there, and it's because they don't understand your market. And the real problem is they don't understand how much of a problem that is. If I'm ever working with someone, like, I don't really do done for you work. It's very rare when I do. But if I do, I tell them I'm going to need you for a while here, because I need all of the knowledge in your brain about your customers and what they're saying and every objection that exists. And I'm selling someone's cleaning solution right now. I'm getting down to the nitty gritty. I'm learning the science, the chemicals, all of that. I'm reading up on the exact science of cleaning, a lot of things that might not be necessary in the end, but just in case I might need them, or I can find something within all this research that just creates a really compelling copywriting for me, then I'm going to want to know about it. I go crazy on the research if I'm ever trying to make ads for someone, and I probably won't even publish an ad for a month just with the amount of customer research I'm going to be doing. And a lot of agencies will just tell you, oh yeah, we got it. And they don't even ask you any questions about your market or your customer, what's worked for you, what have people been buying, which offers did not work for you. Tell me about specific divisions of your market that have a lot of money. What are the biggest problems? Like a lot of things, they never dig into it. And because they're not, it's how you can know they have no chance to get it working. If they don't understand your customer and they aren't adamant to do so, then they don't understand how marketing works. And this is going to be the biggest red flag. The second thing you're going to ask is, what will you be doing for me? And here's going to be the main answer that you're going to hear that you're going to watch out for. And that is that they're just going to be doing regular posts and story posts for you. And maybe they're saying we're going to leave some comments, but that's about it. They're just doing a lot of the basic groundwork. Maybe they're going to do some unfollow even. But if they're just going to do posts for you and story posts, it's not going to do anything. It would have 5 years ago. And that's why social media agencies was such a successful business before. All that it had to do with before for being a successful Instagram agency was that there was so much organic reach from just doing a regular post that it was very hard for it not to be worth it to every business. Nowadays, hashtags don't really work. Explore page doesn't really work. If a business is hiring you to do organic marketing for them and you're the only means of getting them sales and they think you're a means to an end of them getting consistent sales, it's probably not going to happen for them and you're just going to lose them as a client. All right. So right now I was kind of talking to social media agencies themselves, but for those of you that are looking to hire these social media agencies that are only going to do organic marketing for you and not any kind of messaging, all right? Messaging your targeted clients and them finding them and reaching out to your targeted clients directly is going to be one of the few things that is actually worth someone's time organic marketing wise. And by that, I mean worth your time and worth paying someone else to do it for you. It's one thing to just get a post out where it didn't cost you any money and you just screenshot a Twitter quote or take a selfie and write a caption with it, and it doesn't take you long at all and it doesn't cost you any money. Even if that gets no hashtag impressions, that's worth your time. If you're paying another company to do that, and it's not getting hashtag impressions or finding you any followers, then you might be spending upwards of $50 for that post to happen and generate you no results. So that's why if you're hiring a social media agency to do something for you, like if you're already doing it right now, if you're doing organic posting and you know it's making you no money, hiring a social media agency to do it is not going to be any different for getting you sales. They're not just going to rank on hashtags or whatever. It's just kind of consider organic reach for anything outside of Reels to be dead. If they tell you we're going to be posting a ton of Reels and then we're going to be DMing your targeted clients, those are two very viable strategies nowadays. And then you ask, how are you going to make the Reels? Are you going to be needing to be involved? Because maybe they have such a long process that you're still going to need to be involved that you're not even saving time anymore. So really figure out how they work. And if they don't have a pitch that sounds something along the lines of, a lot of other social media agencies are going to do this for you. The reason why that doesn't work is because blank, blank, and blank. If they're telling you they're just going to do organic posting and some organic stories, just know that there's very little chance that they're ever going to pay for themselves. So really all you're doing is just checking a box off in your business that says, hey, we got social media covered. It's important, right? In that case, if hiring that agency isn't even paying for themselves, it's better not to even hire them and just keep up with content as you can, unless they're something different and can tell you exactly why they're different and why their process works so much better. Just know that they probably don't have that process built for them. And the third one is, how much involvement do you need from me? I already kind of said this one in the last one, but if they're doing Reels, just figure out how much they need you. If you're hiring someone who's just basically going to give you some ideas for trends and audios and then tell you what to film and then you send it to them and then they edit it and it saves you a little bit of time, but it really helps you with the creation process and being creative and just knowing what trends to do, and you don't have to scroll Reels looking for trending audios anymore, and it saves you a ton of time that way, and they do a great job at it, then they might be able to pay for themselves in that case. But just know that you're not really buying time back, maybe a little bit. You're more just buying ideas and creative. So know what they're actually going to need you for. And if they say we don't need you at all, that's also kind of a red flag. So if they're going to run a bunch of ads for you and say, oh, we don't need you, no, we'll figure it out, we'll research your target customer, them saying that is still just like, you can't research a target customer truly from Google searches. You ask someone who understands the market very specific questions to really hear how they talk about it and hear the specific verbiage that the people involved in the market use, not just watch some random YouTube videos of people teaching things in the market and saying, all right, I get it now. It's very difficult to understand the customer without talking to them themselves. So if they're not actively asking you everything about your market and how your customers tick, and they're saying, oh yeah, we don't need you at all, just hire us, send us the money, and then once a month we'll meet up and show you how the ads work. If that's how low involvement their process is, it probably wouldn't work. But on the other end, if it's extremely high involvement, just know that you're not really saving that much time. And if that's the main reason you're looking for an agency, then maybe their process is not what you want. Lots of questions to ask. And to be frank, a lot of you are going to find that an agency is not in the cards for you. And for those of you that are looking, the place that you should start is niche agency. All right. So if you're looking for a yoga agency or your yoga business, type in yoga agency, Pilates agency, fitness agency. Do not ever type in social media agency and look for these generic businesses, because if they're generic, they probably don't know what they're doing. If they're taking on every client, then they're probably doing very basic things for all of them. If they don't get you results within 3 months, they're doing outdated strategies. Subscribe if you got some value, and I will see you next time.